Welcome to today's discussion, podcast discussion about SkyCell's Net Zero Reverse, an innovative solution that is reshaping the future of pharma supply chain. It is going to be leveraging a one-way airline lease model. The solution is setting up a new benchmark in sustainability, offering cost saving, improved efficiency, and uncompromised quality compliance. We have some incredible guests today. I will let you guys introduce yourself to the podcast.
Thank you, Megan. It's been a while since I was called incredible, but I thank you.
There you go. High praise.
I'm Radek with SkyCell. I'm the Vice President of Sales for the container business, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing.
Good morning, Megan.
Morning.
I'm JC Cardinal. I'm the Global Director for our healthcare vertical at Expeditors. So it's great to be here.
Lovely.
Good morning, Erik ten Kate, CEVA healthcare sector, looking after healthcare globally.
Amazing. And we are recording live at LogiPharma for its 25th anniversary. So pharmaceutical supply chains are facing an increasing challenge across the whole supply chain: high operational costs, reducing scope 3 CO2 emissions, and maintaining and improving quality compliance. I'll start with yourself, Erik. What do you see are the biggest challenges in the industry today?
The biggest challenges, well, the uncertainty, the agility that is needed. First you had COVID, then you had the Suez Canal, Red Sea. Every time there's something. We need to be agile. We need to make sure that we fly the product that actually is worth flying, and make sure that that capacity is used in the best possible way.
Absolutely. Anything for yourselves to add, or is that pretty much just...
Yeah, no, I agree with Erik.
Yeah.
Definitely uncertainties. And I think a lot of customers are also looking at risk management.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we're going to discuss the solution today, mitigating those risks of, longer transit time than expected is one of them.
Amazing. And that covers it.
That covers everything.
Perfect. So I'm going to turn to yourself, JC. When it comes to sustainability, what are the biggest barriers for logistic providers in reducing emissions?
I think, there's so many people involved, so many parties involved. And then, I think we all have a role to play, like as a freight forwarders, as an asset base, as the shipper, and making the right decisions, right? I think, ultimately the shippers has the responsibility, but, we also have the responsibility to provide different solutions that makes them more sustainable. So that's, I think, important to have a good and strong open discussion, partnership, and developing the best solutions for our customers so we all reach our goals.
Definitely. So to kind of set the scene on the conversation we're going to be having today, how does reverse logistics add complexity to the supply chain? I feel like I'll go back to yourself if anyone else has any answers.
Do you want me to take it on?
Yeah.
Do you want to take it?
Because it probably impacts us as an asset-based company. Essentially, what SkyCell does, we deliver the containers which are leased, and the big challenge that we have is to pull the containers to the right place, right time. But before we talk about that, I think it's very important and worthwhile to take a step back and explain why are we facing this problem. So Megan and Erik and JC, you probably know we're dealing with a fairly big trade imbalance globally. To give you maybe a little bit of stats, US and Europe exports 10 times more life-saving or enhancing products to Asia than they import back from Asia. And if you look at global trade, pharmaceutical trade of pharmaceuticals globally, it's hundreds of billions dollars. It's a lot of pallets.
Yeah.
And what this situation creates is that a lot of equipment which is used for protection of product during the transportation by air has to be returned back from Asia to Europe and US at the expense of pharmaceutical clients. So it's not only it doesn't only generate 100 millions of spend, which can be avoided, but it actually creates a fairly big CO2 footprint. And that is the challenge that Net Zero Reverse is tackling head on.
Exactly. Maybe we kind of you've kind of set the stage really nicely there. We can turn to Net Zero Reverse. And it would be great if you could kind of explain a bit more. You've just touched on the challenges, but let's dive into the solution. Would you like to explain a bit more about Net Zero Reverse?
Yes, certainly. So understanding the challenge that I've described, what SkyCell has launched very recently is the one-way lease through our partners, available to pharmaceutical logistics sector, so to Expeditors, to CEVA, to their clients and our joint clients. to take advantage from the one-way lease option, and where the containers must be returned because of the trade imbalance that I've mentioned, we commit to exclusively use ocean mode of transportation for the empty containers, which reduces CO2 by more than 90%. Additional benefits from the service, it's not only cost and sustainability linked to the lease, but the industry is dealing with another dilemma, which is additional lease days, which this service eliminates.
Yeah.
I don't know what's your opinion on the three.
Plus, you get more capacity.
Yeah.
The capacity that you need to normally fly it back can now be used for other products.
Great point.
Which brings the cost level down, ultimately.
Great point.
Absolutely. So you've touched on the benefits there. So how does this work and who benefits the most?
There's a lot of parties benefiting from it. Maybe let's start with JC and CEVA. In our opinion, when we designed this solution, we wanted to give freight forwarding industry and another tool to take it to your clients and say there's innovation, there's a disruption. We're all facing inefficiencies with reverse logistics.
Yep.
That is something that we'd like to give to the forwarding industry and say, go to your GAMs, go to your RAMs, go to the vertical leaders and to your clients to say, we have a very interesting solution, which drives your efficiency too. So that is for the freight forwarders. For the airlines, Eric mentioned, they're gaining additional capacity and they don't have to deal with the reverse by air. So there's a benefit to the airline industry. And to us, as an asset-based company with DNA running through with sustainability running through our DNA, we have another solution that allows us to lead the market, to be the innovator, to drive efficiencies, drive cost, positively contribute to CO2 savings, and that's what we set up, while protecting the medicines.
Yes.
Because what we never want to sacrifice, and this is our commitment to the industry from the day one, that we will protect product to the highest level.
Amazing. And I guess, from you guys' perspective, obviously SkyCell creates the solution. Where do you guys fit into it? How did you kind of come to know about the solution? Was it kind of a relief to know? I know it's a big topic here of discussion at LogiPharma 25th anniversary, sorry. But yeah, it'd be great to kind of hear how you guys stepped in, just a bit more from your perspective.
Go ahead, Eric.
Okay. From a sustainability perspective, of course, we deal a lot with SkyCell. We participate in tenders, but there's connections there that work. Customers are looking for sustainability, and that keeps coming back. It gives us another way to communicate with the customers, drive the partnership forward. I think that's where it mainly came from. Plus we did some of the reverse logistics. We set that up somehow, so we know what the challenges are. So that also, now doing it one way, makes SkyCell also more attractive for the customers, for our customers as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what I appreciate that solution, because there's always objectives, right? And then I can see from a lot of our customers, their objectives for 2025 was continuous improvement, which includes reducing cost, reach your goal in terms of sustainability. And I think this solution really wins everything, because there's always a cost for sustainability, either if you want to buy some SAF fuel or sustainable aviation fuel, there's a cost buying credit. But this one, not only you reduce your cost, but also you reach your goal in terms of sustainability. And like Radek mentioned, without compromising the product safety, integrity, and quality. So we still use the right solutions on the outbound, but bring the container from a more cost-efficient sustainability perspectives. And then again, I think it's a win-win-win solution.
Definitely. And we kind of touched and set the stage on the specific challenges. How does this model specifically solve packaging and reverse logistic challenges that we kind of touched on there?
Yeah, I think we partially answered this question. It is answering the dilemma of what do we do with empty equipment, and how do we deal with this dilemma in a cost-efficient, sustainable manner. So for us as an organization, we had to make certain preparations. You cannot roll this out overnight. We had to make quite substantial investment. We had to work with, as mentioned, Eric mentioned, with ocean lines and forwarders to set the process and utilize ocean freight. But the beauty of this solution in front of us is that it's truly scalable and ready for global operation. Very often, new initiatives are launched on a very small scale as a proof of concept. This solution is already utilized by a number of very big pharma shippers. So it's available to CEVA, to Expeditors immediately globally. From US, from Europe, to very, very heavily imbalanced trade lanes like Asia, China, Japan, Korea, Middle East. So there is an immediate ROI for pharma shippers and forwarders, and for us, of course, it's a very interesting growth opportunity and contribution to our own sustainability goals.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win-win.
Absolutely.
It is when the 1 + 1 = 3
And I imagine
for somebody else.
I imagine it's nice being at LogiPharma and kind of everyone's kind of having these conversations about the challenges and just going, well, I've got a solution ready up my sleeve for that.
Absolutely, great platform, as always has been for the last 25 years.
There you go. 25 more years, I'm sure. So I'll turn the
Will we be around?
We hope so.
Who knows? So if we kind of then switch to you guys' perspectives, let's get some insights from the freight forwarders on how this impacts their work. Eric, I'll turn to you. Do you see the solution impacting your day-to-day logistics operations?
The day-to-day.
Your day-to-day, or kind of in the wider scope?
No, it gives us another product to sell to the customer. Like we talked about the partnership before. It gives more choices. The product itself works brilliantly. So you have no issues with driving that forward. But now you make it more attractive for the customers. The return shipping is much easier. I mean, you consolidate, you know how it's being loaded into containers, and every freight forwarder can do that, basically. So there's a wide choice. You have the flexibility. You don't have to look for the needle in the haystack, the customer that you can use for shipping the material back, because that's also opportunities that we looked at, but it's very difficult to find. Because no, you have the container at a location, but you don't have the product, and the other way around. But that's also something that we're further discussing on, for instance, road freight in the US. How can you reposition there? You could use that with general transport as a temperature-controlled solution. Also utilizing the product to its best use, I would say.
Absolutely. Anything to add there, JC?
No, I fully agree. I mean, that when we see a great initiative like this one, we are in contact with a lot of shippers, and we always want to bring something to them, right? It's a partnership with SkyCell and all the players. So I think it's our job to go out and promote it when it makes sense.
Absolutely.
It also brings that whole community together, right?
That's
That partnership, what we had with COVID. I mean, we're partners from that perspective. We're competition, but we're also partners in this whole ecosystem.
Absolutely.
We need to do our part, and in the partnership you can do that. And I think that's the bigger thing that we try to achieve.
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you differentiate? Because I got blue eyes? No, because we work together.
Exactly.
That's the new motto, I think.
Very nice.
That's what I always find working in this industry is everyone's just so willing to help each other out, cooperate, share ideas, which is always just very refreshing for the industry as well. And that's how we move forward and kind of have all these brilliant ideas. It'd be great to tap more into the advantages as well of this type of model that we can provide for traditional logistics solutions. It'd be great to kind of hear from your perspective there, those kind of advantages there.
No, I think, again, very important is that more than 90% CO2 savings is very, very appealing. Cost savings are very appealing. We're talking about 100 million saved every year. And maybe it's important to mention that very specialized and capable teams like CEVA and Expeditors have access to the solution right away. The heavy lifting has been done. The investment has been done. The ROI is immediately available to all the stakeholders. And our partnership through MLAs, through existing business that we have, I think I'm super excited about how quickly we can bring this to the market and clients without need of very lengthy validation processes that our industry faces. So I'm pretty excited, and again, having partners like CEVA and Expeditors just makes it so much easier.
I'm glad you're excited, because that is my next question about why should freight forwarders be excited?
Why?
Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. I'll pass it on to them. Yeah, you're excited, so
everyone.
I'd like to hear. Yeah.
I think for us, again, it gives us another solution, right? I mean, this is what we do. We offer solutions to our customers with our the shippers, right? I mean, they're looking at us. It's like, tell me what's out there. Tell me how to move the freight. I mean, they manufacture life-saving products, right? And to Radek's point, I think, I appreciate the fact that SkyCell invested a lot of money in building a container fleet, because when you think about it, these containers are out there, moving all around the world. You need enough capacity to ship it on air freight, but to bring them back on ocean, we still need some containers out there to be able to ship. So as a freight forwarder, we need that type of solutions. We need that capacity when we when we're having those discussions with the customers, with the shippers. They're looking at us like, help us to ship our product in a safe way, but also in a cost effectively and sustainability. So again, for me, it's just a good solution to go and to offer to our customers.
Lovely.
Nothing to add other than you can go to destinations that you didn't go before. You have your one-way leases. You don't need a return station. You get it back via an ocean port, no matter what. So I think that also opens up your product to a wider group.
Great point. And maybe what we haven't really mentioned is any innovation, any disruption in the market requires a believer. So CEVA Expeditors are here to represent the community, but who's missing here are the two launching partners, United Airlines and Emirates. Yes. And I do want to give shout out to these two companies because they believe this, they've seen a benefit, they wanted to be the launch partners, and well done. We look forward to that cooperation.
Well, everyone's excited, which is great. That's good. Good to hear. So, Eric, I'm going to turn to you as well from more of a sustainability perspective as well. What should pharma companies and customers expect from logistic providers when it comes to sustainability, and how does this model then help meet those expectations?
The part that we can reduce, we will reduce, and that's the partnership that we have. So we have reporting. You probably also have the same reporting, so people now actually start to believe in this, right? There's financial goals behind this. Together we can drive that forward, whether it's sustainable aviation fuel or these kind of solutions. The circular economy, that's probably that we need to focus on. Those things that help us reduce that footprint, because our footprint can be reduced through our assets, but we need to work closer with the customers on that.
Absolutely. And from a SkyCell perspective as well, how does the collaboration process, what does that look like with freight forwarders to ensure seamless integration of the solution?
I mean, this is a solution that is driven by technology, but also software, and that creates a service. But at the end of the day, and I hope you agree, we're in the people business.
Yeah.
And to make it work, we need our global teams to be aligned on the global, regional, and local level to spread the news, to take advantage from it. And we have that collaboration. Usually the relationship with companies like Expeditors and CEVA starts on the corporate level when we have master lease agreements, but where it really gets done, where the work really gets done, is on the desk level, on the operational level, from global to local. We are a global company acting very locally, and I know it's very beneficial so far and be beneficial in the future.
Absolutely. And I've got one final question for you all before we wrap up. If you could give one piece of advice to logistic leaders striving for sustainability, what would that be?
How long do I have? I'll try to make it
as long as we wrap up by tomorrow.
I would say this: look at your trade lanes, look at your business, see where the biggest inefficiencies are. Where do you spend most amount of money on reverse logistics and extra dailies? Because that is the lever that you need as a leader. And if you can identify it, work with SkyCell team, work with forwarders and airlines, launching partners, and tell us where the problems are. The solution is available, it's scalable, it's being used already. Take advantage from it. There is no need to time. There is no need to wait.
Absolutely. JC?
I mean, from my perspective, it's partnership, transparency. I mean, as a forwarder, I think, Eric, you will agree, the more we know, the better and the more accurate the solutions will be. Period. Like, we want to get involved, we want to create solutions, but we need to understand the big picture. Once we got all the data, all the elements, then we can provide a proper solution. You know, the lead time, the return, like that solution is, you know, tailored for a certain, like, you know, lanes and purpose. So the more we know, the better partnership.
Yep.
Again, the better the solution will be, the more accurate.
Yep. Difficult to add something there, right? But it's the collaboration aspect that helps drive the things forward, and you can get cheaper price probably anywhere. If you search, you will find, but treat it as a partnership, then you get more out of it, rather than being a kind of a commodity.
Amazing. I think that closes it up very nicely. Thank you all for
Thank
joining
you
me
very
today
much.
on the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you, JC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Clearly, this is going to be an absolute game changer. So if you'd like to learn more, visit skycell.ch/net zero reverse. Until next time, join me on the podcast next week.